The New York Times recently published an opinion piece by Mark Penn and Andrew Stein, where they basically give the Democratic Party the worst advice ever. So their goal with this article was to tell the Democratic Party what they need to do to be electorally viable again. And the underlying assumption is that the Democratic Party, they've moved too far to the left and they need to move back to the center in order to win again. But obviously, this article is wrong because the premise itself is flawed. The Democratic Party, they never left the center. In fact, the party is center and center-right, if anything. But these authors, they're not arguing that the Democratic Party moved too far to the center-right and should move back to the center. They're arguing that the Democratic Party has become too liberal and that they need to move back to the center. So they argue the path back to power for the Democratic Party today, as it was in the 1990s, is unquestionably to move to the center and reject the siren calls of the left, whose policies and ideas have weakened the party. Okay, so we've already got to stop right there, because that first paragraph is so ridiculous I have to address it before we even move forward. So these siren calls that the authors are referring to are obviously calls from progressives to move back to the left. Now, the problem with this argument that apparently our calls for them to move back to the left is weakening the party is patently false, because our policies are supported by a majority of the electorate. Raising the minimum wage, single-payer healthcare, these are all things that the overwhelming majority of the American people actually want. So to say that what we want is weakening the party makes no sense, but let's go ahead and get back to their argument. So they continue saying, after years of leftward drift by the Democrats culminated in Republican control of the House under Speaker Newt Gingrich, President Bill Clinton moved the party back to the center in 1995 by supporting a balanced budget, welfare reform, a crime bill that called for providing 100,000 new police officers, and a step-by-step approach to broadening healthcare. Mr. Clinton won a resounding re-election victory in 1996, and Democrats were back. But the last few years of the Obama administration and the 2016 primary season once again created a rush to the left. Identity politics, class warfare, and big government all made comebacks. Candidates inspired by Senator Bernie Sanders, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and a host of well-funded groups have embraced sharply leftist ideas, but the results at the voting booth have been anything but positive. Democrats lost over 1,000 legislative seats across the country and control of both houses of Congress during the Obama years, and in special elections for Congress this year, they failed to take back any seats held by Republicans. Bigger government handouts won't win working-class voters back. This is the fallacy of the left, believing that voters just need to be shown how much they are getting in government benefits. In reality, these voters see themselves as being penalized for maintaining the basic values of hard work, religion, and family. It's also not all about guns and abortion. Bill Clinton and Barack Obama both won working-class voters despite relatively progressive views on those issues. Today, identity politics and disdain for religion are creating a new social divide that the Democrats need to bridge by embracing free speech on college campuses and respect for Catholics and people of other faiths who feel marginalized within the party. Americans are looking for can-do Democrats in the mold of John F. Kennedy and Bill Clinton, leaders who rose above partisanship to unify the country, who defended human rights and equality passionately, and who also encouraged economic growth and raising wages. That is the road back to relevance and the White House for Democrats. Okay, so obviously, if you're a progressive, you know that everything in this article it's just flat out wrong. The authors have it completely backwards, and what they're advocating for are not centrist policies. They're just advocating for right-wing policies. I mean, case in point, he cites, the so-called centrist victories of Bill Clinton in the 90s as, victories for the party because they were centrist and bipartisan. But what Bill Clinton did wasn't centrist or bipartisan at all. He just gave in to Republicans and signed Republican welfare into law that gutted welfare. He did things that were right-wing. And the article also implies that the party's desire to embrace Bernie Sanders, yes, because, they're clearly listening to everything Bernie Sanders has to say and they're not just giving him the middle finger, explains why they lost 1,000 seats across the country when that makes no sense because Bernie Sanders Sanders is the most popular politician in the country. If anything, Bernie Sanders is trying to help the Democratic Party, and his association with the Democratic Party is making their brand a little bit less toxic. Now, they also implied that Democrats have disdain for religion and that they haven't embraced free speech at college campuses. And to say that the Democratic Party needs to embrace free speech at college campuses doesn't even make sense, because it's not like the aggregate party can send a message to students and say, we command you to stop protesting Ann Coulter and Milo Yiannopoulos. They can't do that, so the party doesn't have control over that. It's the college campuses that have to implement some types of policies. And furthermore, why would that result in them losing? That makes no sense whatsoever. And you're also implying that the Democratic Party isn't the party of free speech. It's the Republican Party, yes, because the Republican Party that literally banned the words climate change is the party of free speech, and the party whose president literally sued people over jokes, they're the party of free speech, right? But those SJWs on college campuses, I mean, they're the ones that caused the party to lose. It's this big SJW boogeyman, woo, that caused the party to lose. It has nothing to do with the fact that they decided to take millions and millions of dollars from large multinational corporations and then turn around and do their bidding, right? It has nothing to do with their corporatism. It has everything to do with Bernie Sanders and SJWs on college campuses, right? I mean, it's just a complete tone-deaf article, and it sounds like a Washington, D.C. elite trying to rich-splain what the party needs to do to win over working-class voters when it's completely ass-backwards. Everything that this strategist or these strategists said the party should do is the exact opposite of what they should be doing. But there's a reason for this. I initially read this article, and I thought that the authors were just dim-witted. But they're actually smarter than I initially gave them credit for, because as Lee Fang for The Intercept explains, Clinton strategist Mark Penn, who wrote this article, pushes Democrats to move to center and quietly profits from GOP victories. Now, Lee Fang goes on to argue that progressives have long viewed Penn with deep skepticism, noting that he has repeatedly used his close ties to Democratic officials as a vehicle for promoting his corporate clients. But there's another wrinkle to Penn's advice. He now invests in Republican advocacy firms and profits from the electoral defeat of Democrats. Mark Penn's investment firm acquired stake in Targeted Victory, a Republican consulting company that assisted Donald Trump with his presidential campaign, and more recently, Karen Handel in Georgia's 6th congressional district. So it's not that Mark Penn is dumb and can't tell his asshole from his elbow. It's that he's greedy, and he doesn't want the Democratic Party to reform and become more oriented towards the working class, because he wants Republicans to win, because he wants to make money. He wants his firm to get rich from all these Republicans winning. That is, that's a special kind of evil right there. Now, the sad thing is that there are people in Washington that will probably read this article and think, wow, this guy, you know, he's been an advisor to Bill and Hillary Clinton for years. He actually is part of the reason why Hillary Clinton was defeated by Barack Obama in 2008, because he completely mishandled her campaign. But they're thinking, well, you know, he's been a longtime party ally and strategist, so we might as well listen to what he has to say. When they have someone like Mark Penn and Andrew Stein, you know, who are reinforcing their bad behavior, that's not just a lose for Democrats, because they will lose if they continue to move to the center and be right-wing, but it's also a lose for the people who need a party that's willing to look out for their interests. So, you know, this is just, wow. It's not stupidity like I thought, and a lot of people probably thought when they read this article. This dude wants to make money. It's just greed, pure and simple.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.